Hello everyone, welcome to this budget PC build guide. Today we're building a powerful system for just $150. It got a 10-core Xeon CPU, 16GB of RAM, and the RX 588GB. This is perfect for 1080p gaming, multitasking, and even some light content creating. If you're looking for the most performance for the lowest price, stick around. I'll show you how to put it all together. But first, we have to look at the budget for this build. So we got the CPU, it's bought off AliExpress. In the bundle with the CPU and the motherboard, I paid a total of $30. The RAM I bought off Facebook Marketplace, $10. The same with the power supply, $20. The SSD I bought brand new for $20. The case I bought brand new, $25. The GPU I bought secondhand Facebook Marketplace, $40. And the cooler I bought as well on AliExpress for $5. The total amount spent for this budget is $150. To start the build, I usually take the key components, build them first. So the motherboard, CPU, RAM, and the SSD if there is one. In this case there is. We take out the motherboard, the IO shield, and the SATA data cable. And I usually put the motherboard on top of the box itself to give like a base for a base to build on. And I usually take out the anti-static bag and put it on top, just to make sure we don't get anti-static electricity more than we should. An X99 board, I paid $30 for it. This is the CPU that came with the bundle in the motherboard bundle I bought off AliExpress. It's an E5 2630 V4 Xeon CPU. It's a 10-core 20-thread CPU. So now we're going to install the CPU. We are looking for this little golden triangle, and the same triangle we have to find on the motherboard. Those two triangles are gonna line up to make sure that the orientation of the CPU is correct with the motherboard. To get the CPU in the socket, we need to take off these two levers. It depends on different motherboards how many of these there are. Usually one, but in cases of a bigger CPU, a Xeon or an Epic from AMD, or maybe some M5, I don't know. They have two levers just to make sure that the CPU is more secure and is held in place by these secure mechanisms. So we line up the little triangle with the triangle motherboard, and we load the CPU down. And it also falls in like in these two notches in the end. And we put the security mechanism down, and we tighten both the levers. Like so. The next thing is the CPU cooler mounting bracket. It takes 4 screws down to the motherboard itself. And here is the RAM. It's the Kingston Fury RGB, 2x8GB, so 16GB kit. DDR4. And to install them, we need to line up the notch on the motherboard to the notch on the RAM, and that's also to make sure the orientation of the RAM is correct. So to install the RAM, we need to flip down these two clicks and figure out how to orientate the RAM. So we switch around, make sure the notch line up with the notch in the motherboard, and we firmly click it into place. and the same we do on the other side. Sometimes it can be a little tricky to know how much force you're gonna need, and it's like you need to press a little hard, almost to the point where you think it's gonna break, and then it clicks. Here we got the CPU cooler, also one I bought off AliExpress. I bought it for I think $10, and it's a little 2-pipe cooler, RGB fan, not addressable RGB, just RGB. So before installing the CPU cooler, we need to take off this plastic piece to make sure we got the best contact to the CPU. And we have to use these levers or attachment points and use the small clips or edges on this CPU mount, where it gets a grip, and then you tighten it down. And before installing the CPU cooler, I usually clean the CPU a bit, put on some thermal paste. It usually should be a size of a grain of a rice. But some CPUs are a little bigger, so sometimes you need to take a little bit more and sometimes a little bit less. But usually a grain of rice. So now we put on the CPU cooler down on one mounting point and then the other. And this can be a little bit tricky. And then we got to remember to plug in the CPU fan as well into the CPU header. Now we got the storage. I went for an M.2 SATA SSD, 256 gigabytes. It got write and read speeds of 500 megabytes a second. So it's a good little budget SSD. I paid around $15 for it. And to install it, we need to match the notches to the M.2 slot on the motherboard. We loosen the screw, the mounting screw, and we gently push it in so it clicks, and then we mount the screw again. And usually when buying motherboards, there is already installed a CMOS battery, but not with this one, so I installed one. And now to the case. It's an Aerocool CS107 mini tower case. For the case I paid around $36 or $37. The case comes with the side panel of plastic. The front I/O is USB 2.0, USB 3.0, and headphone jack and mic jack. Comes with 2 RGB fans in the front and 1 in the back. To install the I/O shield, we need to figure out how to orientate it. So we take out the I/O shield and fits with the motherboard just to see how it should fit in the case. And we just need to push it in so it fits. Sometimes you need a lot of force, sometimes it just snaps in, so it depends on how the case quality is. And we'll make sure it fits straight with the case and doesn't fall right out afterwards. Before installing the motherboard into the case, we need to prepare it for how many stand-up we need. So we have to figure out how many we need. There's one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, and one there. So that's 6 in all. And in the case we see we installed 4, so we're missing the last 2. And that's the yellow ones we're missing. So we take out the screws, came in a little back with the case, and we need those gold standoffs. And we install it with our screwdriver. To install the motherboard, we need to use the right screws. These are the screws that fit with the standoffs. There we have a little kinda edge on the screw and a tighter thread, so that's the ones we need. I can't remember the specific thread dimension, but those in the picture right there are the one we need. So we line the motherboard up with the IO shield and make sure it fits. And also fits with the standoffs. And we start securing the motherboard into the case with those screws. And again, we don't need to tighten with full force, we just need to tighten so it's tight with, if you tighten with 2 fingers, that's how tight you need to torque it. Now we have come to the case cables. We have a 3.0 USB and an audio for the jack sticks and the headphone jack in the case. It goes right over there to the left. And we got a USB. It goes to the right of the 3.0. For the front panel connectors, there's a little diagram here. The colors don't match to the connectors on the motherboard, but this is how the standard for the front panel connector is. So we got the power LED plus and minus, that's plus on the 2 and minus on the 4. We got the power switch 6 and 8. We got the hard disk LED 1 and 3 and the resets on 5 and 7. And that's this connector right there. This is how it looks after wiring all the front panel connectors up. Tried to make it a little bit nice with cable management, but in this case it's not very good. And the same on the back. They tried it as well. Now we can install the power supply. We need to face the fan towards the interior of the case because there's not an air intake for the fan. Some cases have different designs. In this case there's not a ventilation spot in the top for the power supply to breathe through. To install the power supply we use these screws. This is the little bit beefier screws and there's 4 screws needed for this process. Then we plug in the CPU power. It's an 8-pin. It can only go in one way, and we need to make it click with the latch. Now just to make sure that it's all the way in by feeling if there's a gap between the connector in the motherboard and the cable. And the same with the 24-pin for the motherboard. And again, I try to make sure it's flush against the connector. Now we come to the graphics card, the GPU. It's an RX 580, 8GB version. In this case we have to orientate a lid to get it inside the case. It was a little too big. And we need to push it in, the PCIe slot. And sometimes you need to press it a bit hard to get it to like click in the motherboard. hear the sound, the clip, the security clip clicking, it usually means it's all the way in. And we use the same screws for the power supply to screw in. To power the graphics card, we use an 8-pin. It's the PCI cable. So we got a different layout pin than the CPU, so it can be switched around. And now we are testing if we got it all right, and it's posting. Sometimes it can take a little bit. It's for the CPU and the RAM to all be recognized in the BIOS, so it needs to like figure out what part is in the system. Then we got the boot, and the CPU and RAM showed up